One of the fastest subscription drivers in the history of YouTube. Longest time on site at over 24 minutes.
It's my honor to have Shane from Vice here. So Shane, you guys started from Montreal years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like for you guys to start it? How long ago was it?
We started in 1994 in Montreal as a government program, and then we sort of bought the magazine away. It was called Voice of Montreal, and then we changed it to Voice. And then we dropped the O and became Vice. And then around 1998, we moved to New York. And then we started our global expansion. And now we're in 34 countries around the world.
Right. So this morning, you and your partner, what is his name? Shurshao. Yeah. You guys talked about all the new media stuff, the internet, the Vice.com. So do you still consider that those are the keys, the most important, more important than the TV aspect?
Yeah. I think for us, digital is much more important than TV. We do TV in 24 different countries, but for us, the future is online. The future is mobile. So it's what we concentrate on. We're much more enthusiastic about the scale of online, because if you look at what happened in TV, there was 3 or 4 channels, then cable came along, now there's hundreds of channels fighting each other. But online is where Gen Y lives. Online is where our audience lives. So that's where we're going to concentrate all of our efforts.
You talked about China and India in particular. You're saying with China you guys have a big presence there,
yeah.
But you mentioned also like getting money out. Is it a currency restriction issue, or is it?
It's famously difficult to get money out of China. I mean, you can make money within China, but sort of getting it out in any meaningful way is difficult. We have a great relationship with Youko. We have a great relationship with Todu. And there's great
Youko Todu is the online platform, viewing platform.
Yeah. So we really have a great relationship with those guys. So we have a lot of scale. We're working with some great brands over there. Creators Project has been a big success for us. We have a great creative team making a lot of great content. The problem is if you start making, bigger sums of profit, what do you do with it? It's not such a big problem in the short term, because you can just reinvest the money and build the company. But after a certain point, you want to take the money out, and it's been a problem, not for us, but for pretty much every company that's in China right now.
Right. I've seen some of the Vice news show. It's called Vice.
Right, yeah.
So there's few of the segments are Chinese specific and can be viewed as critical, like the marriage episode and the housing. Did you get pushback from the Chinese government, or what was the?
No, I mean, I think the housing issue has been well documented. There's a lot now. It's we were a little bit before everybody else, but now it's gaining a lot of international traction. I was just reading something today about worries that the housing bubble in China might lead to a sort of economic slowdown, which is worrying not just for China but for the world. On the one-child policy, I think if you look at, it's a static within China. It's been done. The stories have been done within China. There's 50 million more men than there are women because of the one-child policy. And if you have 50 million, that's larger than the whole population of Canada.
Yeah.
So if you have a country size of just men, it's going to lead to problems. And we're not going on and on about the one-child policy. We're going more on about what are the cultural trends because of having 50 million more men than women.
Right. With that show, how do you select the topics you're going to cover, and how much time and effort, well, I guess money you spend on each of the show or the segment?
Well, we take each, we make different criteria for if it's for Vice magazine, or if it's for Vice.com, or if it's for Vice YouTube, or if it's for the Vice TV show. They all have different criteria, but basically we want it to be a punch in the face, i.e. we want it to be like, wow, the next day if you're at school or the bar or at work, you'll talk about it. Wow, did you see that last night? So it has to be interesting, and if it's interesting and it has a hook.
Speaking about YouTube viewing, you mentioned some really amazing statistics.
Yeah.
Can you talk about those?
Sure. So we're one of the fastest subscription drivers in the history of YouTube. Longest time on site at over 24 minutes. Best like versus dislike ratio, so a lot more people like it than dislike it, and highest video completion, so people watching video the whole way through. So all of those together are engagement, and the big, it used to be hits, and then it was video views, and then it was unique visitors, and then it was unique visits, and now it's all about engagement. So those are the key metrics, and the fact that we're, in the top 0.1% of YouTube for those metrics, which is the most democratic sort of video platform on earth. You can't jerry rig those numbers. It's very exciting for us because we're on the #1 video platform with the #1 metrics, and we're just going forward.
And for you, would you say the advertisers see those views and whatnot just the same as them seeing a Nielsen rating on TV show and whatnot? Does it make a difference to Intel? And
it's much better than the Nielsen rating. Everybody knows that Nielsen, and other ratings, the systems are flawed. For television, it's a shotgun approach. If you have metrics, you can tell when they were online, how long they stayed online, where they were, how much money they make, etc., etc. So I mean, online has much better metrics for advertisers. So when advertisers see that, it's worth actually a lot more than a Nielsen rating.
Right. You mentioned India. So India is one, along with China.
Yeah.
Is that one of the big? Because of the potential, would you?
Yeah. Well, India is a very interesting country
about that?
Because they have very little cable penetration. So it's a big country, but they have basically not a lot of television penetration into the population, and the television penetration they do have is basically run by the mothers, and then they have which is soap operas in Bollywood. And then they have, on the other side, not that much sort of broadband connectivity, and that's kind of run by the fathers for cricket. So what's happened is 4G has sort of come along, and all the young people basically own mobile, and they get connected through mobile. They don't have access to computers or television. So it's how they access all of their information. So for us, that's great. It's young people, massive population, all wanting, they have great content, but it's mostly Bollywood and cricket. They don't have all the other stuff in between, the food, the travel, the news, the politics, all that stuff for young people. So we said, youngest population, biggest market for young people in the world, all consuming, through mobile devices. It's perfect for us. So we went there, and it's going incredibly well.
So you guys are based in New York now, is that right? And
we're based. Well, we have.
You started in Montreal.
Yeah, we started in Montreal, but we're headquarters in New York.
Right. You going to do more projects in Canada?
We'd love to. Yeah, everybody who's watching, we'd love to do more in Canada. We'd like to do more TV up here, and we're still up here with the magazine. We're still up here online, so check us out.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.